let's now look at it from Houston's perspective. Let's say that the Niners have decided they want to do it, regardless of what we think, and that Watson's into it. He's like, all right, fine. I just want to get out. If that's the best way to go, then let me go to Santa Clara. Let's think this through from Houston's perspective. Is this the move they want to make, trading Watson to the 49ers?
It sounds crazy because every franchise, the reason you pick a quarterback, everything you want is Deshaun Watson. But because of how badly Bill O'Brien managed all their assets, their cap and everything, frankly, if they could, if it's anything but a Herschel Walker type deal, not worth it. If it is the Herschel Walker deal, I think it would be in their best interest because you get to totally rebuild this entire thing. And, you may never get a quarterback as good as Deshaun. Agreed. But you may get 5 players that can probably account and help out that quarterback much more than the 5 undrafted guys helping out Deshaun. Right. So that's where I would stand with that. But again, it's got to be the Herschel Walker trade. Otherwise, don't do it because he's the most marketable. He's charismatic. He's got arm strength. He's got everything you want in a quarterback. So that's what I would say from Houston's perspective.
Well, let me reframe this question for you. I didn't put it. Let's put it this way. Let's say the Niners call up and we're like, you know what? We're down. Like, we'll give you the Herschel Walker package. 3 firsts, our next 3 firsts, our next 3 seconds. And you know what? Let's say Miami calls them too, and we're like, you know what? We'll do the Herschel Walker trade too. We'll give 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and Tua. So let's say they get multiple offers that are pretty comparable in terms of the amount of picks. And Houston's sitting there like, all right, okay. We could send them to Miami, and they're in the AFC. Or we could send them to the Niners, and they're in the NFC, get them out of our conference. Do you think Houston would look at the Niners picks 12th in 2021, God knows what in 2022 with Deshaun Watson on the team? Is that the best package? What do you think?
It depends. It really depends, right? Because I think if the Niners throw in Jimmy G, I've seen that a lot. I think everybody's just ready to get rid of Jimmy G. So they're like, hey, I know we don't like Jimmy G, but guess what? Jimmy G has this amazing value, so let's throw him in and just trade him for Deshaun Watson.
Trade him for a first-round pick. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I've seen this everywhere. That's probably not how this is going to work. Just because Nick Caserio drafted and liked Eastern Illinois Jimmy G or was part of an organization that did that doesn't mean that he's totally enamored with Jimmy Garoppolo at 30 years old or about to turn 30 years old, had a couple injuries the last few years, and just his contract is hefty. Like, they're not going to sign him to cut him. So, yeah, you can move off his contract. They're not going to move off his contract, which means he's making what? I think you calculated. Is it 13% of the cap?
Who?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Next year it'll be 15. Next year it'll be 15.
Of the 15. Cap, right? So you can't rebuild like that.
No, you can't.
So the Herschel Walker trade, so the Jimmy G, that part of the equation, I'd throw it out. I don't know. I just think from Houston's perspective, it's not prudent to you would like them to take the 49ers offer. I would like them to take the 49ers offer. But I think this AFC, NFC thing is overrated. When you're trading a guy like that, you just got to take the best possible offer.
Yeah.
And if Miami's throwing in that number 3 pick and you're enamored with one of those 3 quarterbacks, then you're starting fresh right away with one of those 3 quarterbacks, and you're now well on your way.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the Niners really can compete with that Miami trade package. I mean, the 12th pick in the draft and Jimmy G, that's great. And you can give them all kind of first-round picks, but you can't guarantee that you can replace Deshaun Watson with the 12th pick. You can't guarantee that Jimmy Garoppolo will even play 16 games. He might be a backup quarterback in the NFL if he can't stay healthy. And then after that, like the 2021 pick could be a late first. I mean, the 2022 pick could be a late first if the Niners are as great as they should be. I mean, Houston could potentially be getting a 12th pick, a bunch of late first round picks, and Jimmy. It seems to me that they should be looking for a team like Carolina or who do we do? Miami. Anyone else that has like a top 7-8 pick, not a 12th pick. Maybe.
Who knows? And everybody throws in Deshaun Watson's trade clause, right? And I think, but the way, if I remember trade clauses, just seeing how they've worked over the years, there's usually more than one team that the guy is interested in going to. Like, I
Right.
think Niners fans have just assumed it's the 49ers. Chris Mortensen reported that the Dolphins is where he's going to be reported, is where he's been hearing. And, Chris Mortensen's word is he's usually, if he says something, it's probably going to happen. He's like kind of like an Adam Schefter, and he's been around a long time, and he's usually not wrong with these kinds of things. So he said the Dolphins. But the point is, let's just say that the Niners are in there, and let's say Deshaun Watson gives a list of 4 different teams. Well, the Niners would have to have the best offer between those 4 different teams. And if one of those teams is Miami, maybe the NFC, AFC thing, I don't know. There's so much to unpack with the Deshaun Watson thing. My head is spinning just considering the fact that he could be on the Niners and taking all the cap numbers, all of that. I'm glad I'm not John Lynch or Parag Marathe or Adam Peters having to actually have this conversation and make decisions on it. That's really hard.
12321 Jello, who is everyone's best friend, says, do you think John Lynch could throw Fred Warner into the deal?
No.
No.
Okay, let me ask you this, Grant. Okay, you're running a corporation. Okay.
Yeah.
You failed in hiring your best. You've not hired that well. Okay. The best guy you hired, are you willing to just give him away for a superstar from another company? The entire business of the NFL for years.
Look at it this way too. I'm putting myself in Jed York's perspective. I'm looking at John Lynch. You didn't draft Deshaun Watson. You didn't want him. You had a reason. You were like, nah, Solomon Thomas, way better. We're going to take this defensive tackle and make him a DN. He's going to be so much better. We don't want him. And then 4 years later, you're coming to me and be like, hey, Jed, we're going to need to trade 7 picks for Deshaun Watson because I changed my mind. He's great. Like, dude, why do I trust you now? Now you need everything for Deshaun Watson. Like, what are you doing?
And you're talking about a guy like, if they trade Fred Warner and DeForest Buckner, I don't know how I could be a player in that locker room and trust John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Those were the 2. Fred Warner has started every single game the last 3 years. He's been the consummate professional. At least DeForest Buckner wasn't drafted by this regime. Fred Warner was drafted by this regime. He's improved every year. He's done every single thing they've asked of him. This Fred Warner contract has to be done. It has to be done with the 49ers, and it has to be whatever you pay for him. He's become the leader of their defense, the leader of their team. Yeah, getting Deshaun Watson's awesome, but Fred Warner's got to be one of the 2 or 3 guys that would have to be off limits.